What's up, guys? Alex McCarthy here from TalkSport, and I'm delighted to be joined by the bruiserweight himself, Pete Dunne. Thanks for taking the time this morning, mate.
It's all good.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm tired. We had a little tour before Worlds Collide, so that was rolled straight from TV on Wednesday. So yeah, I'm tired, but it's all good.
You're spending a lot more time in America right now. Any chance that you're going to just bring the family over, or are you always going to be a homeboy?
So they're back and forth at the minute, working on a visa process for them.
Okay.
But I'll never fully relocate. Like, I'm blessed that I'm in a position where I can, we're financially stable enough where I can live out this dream of having a place there and a place here and back and forth, and keeping a foot in on NXT UK and then being able to be involved in NXT. And yeah, at the minute doing this fun tag team with Matt Riddle and stuff, I'm having my cake and eating it, so.
And you're right, it is fun. The crowd ate up the Pete Dunne promo last night. That must be so much fun to do that, and another layer to your character.
Yeah.
How did it get proposed to you?
So we'd done a couple of tag matches on live events. I don't know if that was where the idea sparked from, but it was definitely something I was happy about because it's something out of my comfort zone, right? And I got known for doing these like long epic matches when I had that title run. Yeah. I think it's nice to do something that's a little more, and we're still going to have some cool matches, but I think what we're getting known more so for is talking, which I never thought was something that I would be known for, right? So I can't wait to see what develops from it. And I was saying, like, for me, some of the people I respect the most, like your William Regals or even Kurt Angle, they're these like amazing wrestlers that everyone remembers as being some of the best in the world, but they're also known for making people laugh. And I think that's a big part of building that rapport with your audience and being able to go out there and do something completely serious and emotional, and then also being able to turn it up and make people chuckle and match the perfect person to do it with.
Yeah, no, he really is. And of course, what a wonderful talent he is as well. So wherever direction this goes in, you know you're going to get the quality matches, but of course you've got the character development too.
Well, I think what helps is our wrestling styles in the ring are quite similar, but our personalities couldn't be further apart.
Juxtaposition, let's talk about NXT UK quickly. I think maybe a great example, and this is a double-edged sword, I guess. You've helped grow it so much, but you haven't even been on the last two takeovers. Right? I bet there's part of you that wants to be on those, but also proud to see how well they are doing anyway.
Well, I've been involved backstage, and for me, that's enough to feel like I still have have my foot in on what we created. For me, I don't really care about being the centre of attention. I don't care about being the main focus or the biggest star. I just like having some involvement and then watching it play out and watching Tyler and Jordan kill it or whatever else happens on the show, watching people step up. So for me, I don't think of it like that. And I also think the more takeovers I miss, the one where I finally come back is going to be even better and bigger, right? So
exactly.
We can look forward to that.
And like you said, stars are growing all the time as well in the UK. Like Ilya Dragunov, for instance, he seems to be. The tapings that I've watched and everything, everyone is raving about him. You're looking at the landscape of the talent that you've got there. Do you think last night was a real justification of where we're at right now? Yeah,
obviously it's been pushing forward steadily. Obviously when it first started, the focus naturally would have been on me, Tyler, Trent, the people that they'd been more familiar with. So it's taken me starting to move away from that spot to open up for people, and it's been moving steadily. People like Jordan and people like Ilya have been pushing it, and I think yesterday was great for them, right? Open people's eyes a little bit more, but I think the big thing is BT Sport, Channel 5, that's the wrestling world knows that there's a huge amount of talent in NXT UK. Now let's show the whole world what we do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously being British kids like we were watching wrestling, right? Even I remember like Channel 4, I think like Royal Rumble 2000, and that was kind of 20 years ago now. Like, it's crazy that now wrestling is booming so much. Did you ever this is a bit of a crazy question, but did you ever think it'd be booming like it is now? It's kind of hard to think about that.
I thought wrestling would have its boom periods and its down periods, which it always has. What I didn't expect is for the hub of upcoming talent being the Black Country. That's the crazy thing to me, and just the UK in general, right? That's a more specific part of that, but just the UK in general being this hub for up and coming talent, and last night was the best showcase for that. And hopefully, last year I got to be a part of the Rumble, and hopefully today there's someone representing NXT UK. That'd be a great kickstart to this whole BT Sport, Channel 5 era, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of new eras, as I mentioned to you earlier, Talk Wrestling is going to debut on TalkSport on Tuesday. TalkSport 2, 6 till 7, the first fan phone-in years that UK fans, you know UK fans better than anyone, have been crying out for. What do you think about a landmark like that?
Yeah, it's great, and I know that happened in the past. I know that was I never listened to it really, but I know a lot of people were excited at the prospect of that coming back, and it's what got a lot of people into British wrestling, you know. And I think stuff like that really, really helps. Someone just flicking through channels or whatever, and then being captivated by this kind of stuff, and just giving a voice to fans. I know obviously with Twitter and stuff, the world's a bit different now, but there's still a charm to that style of show, right? So it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because you talk to even Sheamus or Nikki Cross have said to me that they used to listen however many years ago. Yeah. So it's funny how a generation of people these things can end up influencing. But more importantly, even Undisputed Era were just saying there, the UK fans and how important they are to them, which might not be the first train of thought to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that is maybe a resemblance of how important the UK fans have become to wrestling. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, and you see, like, the best example is somebody like Zach Gibson, who is so stereotypically British that if he just debuted in the States, I don't know they would have, well, they definitely wouldn't have reacted in the same way.
No.
I think they would have got him because it's quite obvious that he's a horrible person, but I don't know if it would have been in the same respect. Whereas because you see him build up in the UK and you see how the UK reacts, then the US fans then know how to react.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And they're singing "Take Your Shoes Off" or whatever else. You know, these things. So, and it definitely obviously helped me, but it's helped a lot of people. It's helped even people in the main roster. See chants that were created for Bailey and people like that have just stuck.
Of course, yeah.
It's become a cliche now that the UK fans and their chants, but it is true, and it does help a lot.
Well, one thing we'll do before we wrap up here is talk, a little bit of a get-to-know session. So I'll give you some questions, and you can, if you have a story, then cool. If it's a short answer, also cool. What was your first job? I know you've been wrestling since you were real young, but did you ever have to subsidise that with a job?
Oh yeah, I had a few jobs. When I was first wrestling, I got a paper round to pay for training sessions because I was
stereotypical British stuff.
I was 12 years old, so did that, and then I worked in a chip shop. That's stereotypically British. Yeah. I worked in a restaurant for a couple of years to fund myself flying around the world, and then the longest job I had, I worked doing landscaping. I did that up until the first UK tournament happened, and I went to work the next. It would have been the next Monday or Tuesday whenever I was back. First day I was back, I went back to work and finished up.
When did you finally say, "Nah, I don't need to do this anymore"? Was it the first?
It was around then. It was around then. Yeah, I was just finishing up. It was for my dad's business, so.
Okay. You can't just leave him on dry.
Exactly.
What about your first car?
First car, Range Rover.
Do you know what? Trent Seven says it has something like that as well, doesn't
Same
it?
thing.
Yeah.
So I only learned to drive in the past 2 years. So I was already signed. I was able to do that, and
didn't even have to wait for BT money. You just straight in with a Range Rover. What was the most? I get. If you've met Vince McMahon, what was one of the first things he said to you?
I can't remember the first thing he said to me, but I've had quite a few interactions with him, and he's been absolutely great with me. When I did that Raw match against Enzo, he had loads of nice things to say to me, and he loved the match that myself and Adam had at Survivor Series, and he's always really grateful for our hard work and stuff. So I've had great interactions with him thus far.
You don't strike me as a guy that gets nervous, but is there an intimidating presence about him?
It's definitely cool to be around someone like that. Yeah, like you watched him on TV for years. He's the biggest heel ever in wrestling, right? So he's cool, but I'm not a nervous person. I just do me. You know what I mean? I'm not fussed, but it's definitely cool to be around people like that.
What would you say has been the landmark moment of your career thus far?
Obviously, it would have to be me and Tyler in Chicago. Either that or the original Blackpool tournament, because it's all been full steam ahead from there. But I've had lots of cool moments since, but obviously I think everyone would say the Chicago match sticks out.
I would. I feel like that was a landmark because it transcended from the UK right into the Americans' faces.
And I think a narrative that's missed as well is it changed a lot of how matches in NXT play out. It was a real turning point where I feel like people were given the go-ahead to go, I like that, do more of that, you know. I don't think that gets enough press.
If you could give, you said you was backstage at the takeovers. If you could give like a small insight into what that's like in terms of, because Trent's told me this as well, that he's welcome to help put things together or have his input and things. And what I mean, I guess the real question is, and Triple H has said this himself, that it is like a family, the NXT product, and they say it's Shawn Michaels' baby in the UK, right?
Yeah.
How is that backstage? Is it kind of, there's just loads of creative minds and it feels like a big team? And is it kind of mind-blowing, I guess, that Shawn Michaels is the one leading the charge, I guess? Out of all
You mean specifically in the UK?
Yeah.
UK takeovers?
Yeah. Well, I mean, any of the NXT, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, how is
So,
it in there too?
In the States, obviously we've done so many takeovers now that there's a kind of formula to how it works. It's quite relaxed now, at least for me anyway. I'm relaxed. I'm sure people are nervous and stuff, but and it's just a fun energy in the room. In the UK, it's still new and it still feels like there's a lot riding on it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot riding on ones over here too, but especially in the UK, it's still a brand new concept and everyone feels like we have a point to prove. The coolest thing for me is being involved in them and not necessarily wrestling and being asked, what do you think? You know, and being able to have input and being able to work with people on things that they might be struggling with or ideas and whatnot. That's a totally new concept for me, even though I've always tried to help people in the UK. Now being there with the sole purpose of me helping, it's a fun prospect and a future career for me.
I know William Regal has a firm handle on things, but do you feel like you have a voice where you can say that person would be great in NXT UK? Because obviously you know the scene as well as anyone.
100%, yeah. I could go to him at any point. The thing is, he knows everyone in the UK.
Yeah,
he saw them all, right?
Yeah.
But I will also go to bat for people and say I've saw this person, like Wild Boar was my biggest suggestion, and I think not that he's been underutilised at all. Obviously, it was the early days of NXT UK, but there's so much more to show from him, and that'll happen eventually, right? So I would definitely go to bat for people, and I know that not just William Regal, like he knows a lot of UK talent, but Matt Bloom and stuff like that will definitely come to me and say, what do you think about this person? And usually the answer is, yeah, they're great and they're good to have around, because that's just the way the UK is. It's not there's no tension backstage or anything. Everyone just wants to put on the best show they can.
Yeah. So what would you say, just in closing, I guess, before we have to finish here, in terms of in the States and adjusting that part of your life, because I know obviously you have a young family like I do too. How difficult is it to juggle that? And I know you're saying that you're in the visa process, so I guess that they're understanding and ready to make the move with you. I guess that helps exponentially.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't really thought about it as a move. It's not a move.
You're just following the path, I guess.
My home is in Birmingham. My parents are there. All the grandparents for the baby are there. That's my home. And right now I work in the States, right?
Yeah.
And that's just the way I look at it. And one day I might work in the Middle East, I might work in Japan or whatever, wherever this NXT process happens, that's where I'll go for work. But my home's Birmingham, it will always be Birmingham. And that's why NXT UK being there is fantastic. It's a future career for me, being able to be involved in that. So I don't look at it as a full-time move. They come out and visit me at work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.